民跟后国，中央人民政府今天成立了。
但是你们能不能？
刚才也问我，我可以回半点去，无可奉告。你们也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到来，一定要做好准备。
但是。
干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Exposing the CCP again. So today we're gonna discuss some very interesting topic with Mr. Truth and Chris. So good to see you two again. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good today. I'm happy to be on the show again today. Thank you.
Awesome. Also glad to see you again, Mr. Truth.
Hi, everyone. Zee and Chris. Good to see everyone. And let's start our show. Great.
Awesome. We're going to continue our our program name. We're going to continue to expose the CCP and show what exactly they're doing globally. So today we're going to focus on Australia, not America. There is some kind of breaking news in Australia. A very rich lady in Australia had a car accident and unintentionally or inadvertently exposing her unknown wealth. And showing that, CCP has already have this global distribution of their wealth. And we're going to see what's going on and digging into more details. So let's check out the video first.
Australia was completely transformed. Let me tell you, the main reason is that at that time, Australia wasn't following Britain, but the United States. Then its policy changed. What should we call it? China bought out Australia. Eventually, the entire Bay Area across from the Sydney Opera House was completely bought out by wealthy Chinese and their second-generation princelings. Then Australia's economy boomed, from $150 billion GDP to $1.3 trillion today. The GDP per capita was greater than $50,000, surpassing the UK, Germany, France, and Japan. Isn't that impressive? But Australian politics is completely controlled by the CCP. Australia is the most heavily infiltrated white nation in Asia by the CCP. It is the country with the largest number of Chinese immigrants in higher education. When I went there before I was imprisoned, the first thing I asked was, can kangaroos be eaten? When I arrived again in Australia after being released in 1983, I'd already started studying architecture and researching the Sydney Opera House. I lived on the top floor of the Intercontinental Hotel, which was behind the Opera House, and my interactions were all with Australians, politicians, and artists. Wow, I've changed. I really spent time and money learning about Australia. I felt Australia would definitely fall to the CCP. That was my judgment at the time. The Australians are so greedy. They could be bought off with a little money. And their politicians were shameless, do you know? You've never seen anyone like them. The Brits still have some reserve, while the Americans sometimes try to be righteous, acting like Big Brother. The Japanese at least have some dignity. The Australians are the only shameless one. They'll do anything you ask them to do if you pay them. They're such a cheapskate, not a civilized Western nation. I said I would never come back to this place again. After about 2001, I rarely went there, only a few times because I had many friends there. And Australia is home to many children of Chinese Communist Party officials. So, it's a very complex country. My experience with it was very interesting. So, what we're seeing in Australia right now, being bought by the CCP, isn't just a serious blow. It's a complete wipeout. I've dealt with every Australian TV station and newspaper. Do you know why? During the 2008 Olympics, all those bastards at the Australian TV stations, after taking money from the CCP, refused to pay over $1 million to rent a 10 square meter room. They refused. They came to Pangu to find me. Like Channel 7. We sued Channel 7 in 2009, do you know? The Sydney Herald was in Pangu. We provided them for free. They made many promises to us, but all of them disappeared after the 2008 Olympics. So I know these bastards in Australia all too well. It's just a few small figures behind the scenes, but the CCP has them all under control. Australia is a total wipeout. There's no righteous media in Australia. Absolutely not. No matter how happy you are there, there's no righteous media. They were utterly terrible, wicked, and extremely greedy. There's no oversight, and the politicians are incredibly subservient. The second scariest thing in Australia right now is social media. Australia is ranked in the top 18 to 20 civilized countries among the Western nations out of 223 countries worldwide. Among civilized countries, Australia likely has the worst internet and the most poorly designed internet platform layout. They don't want you to have free social media. This is terrifying. Australia is part of Asia, but it's completely British, the white, supreme, European culture of the Commonwealth. At the same time, it follows the United States in military and economy, and now it's controlled by the CCP. The CCP held internal meetings. I knew it because I often attended their meetings. Former security ministers like Xu Yongyue and Gung Huichang, and later Chiu Jin, Minister Dong, Vice Minister Ma Jian, and a whole bunch of other ministers, including Sun Yonghai. They were constantly hanging out at Pangu. They always said, we must completely take over Australia, or we shouldn't touch it. This policy was followed all the time. Their strategy remained unchanged for 2 or 3 decades. It wasn't only the same political party. You know some of the most sensitive figures in China at the time, including Qin Tonghai from China National Petroleum Corporation, Zhou Shuan, uncertain, who committed suicide in Tianjin, and Chen Liang U.S. family. Many of these people had their own supermarkets, shops, and restaurants in Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, and the Gold Coast. Just think about it. Why are all these people in Australia? Australia is completely under the CCP.
As Miles has warned many years ago, you know, the CCP infiltration plan has been laid out, designed and laid out many, many years ago, and it is been quite successful. So I'm not sure, hopefully the Western world has already realized that it is seeing the infiltration of the CCP everywhere, just around them. And let's go to Chris. Chris, what's your takeaway for this Miles video?
And after watching this video, I did some research, and we can find in Mr. Miles Guo's other video, he mentions that Australia is one of the main battlefield of the whistleblower movement. One of the countries with the most severe implementation of mandatory vaccines in Australia. It is Australia. Mr. Miles Guo said that many illegitimate children and the wealth of CCP members are hidden in Australia. The CCP families in Australia not only have the influence of the Zhang family, but also the Xi family, holding real estate, business investment, and financial assets, some hidden through offshore companies. If we do some research online, we can find that Xi Jinping's younger brother, Xi Jinping, holds an Australian permanent resident as well as a Hong Kong permanent residency. And Xi Jinping's second sister, Qi An'an, holds Australian permanent residency and has long resided in Melbourne, Australia. And Xi Jinping's second sister's husband, Wu Long, holds Australian permanent residency and lives with Xiang'an in Melbourne. And Xi Jinping's cousin, Min Chai, is an Australian citizen involved in the Australian Crown Casino investigations, money laundering, and organized crime. And also the Zhang family also have their distributions in Australia. Zhang family has many assets in Australia, including bank asset and family trusts. Meng Jianzhu's influence is also in Australia. Jiang Zhicheng holds dual citizenship of China and the United States. His cash and assets total over $500 billion US, including funds, stocks, banks, trusts, energy share, technology share, gold futures, virtual currencies, real estate, overseas company holdings, family trusts, and offshore companies. And they do it through the Standard Bank in Africa and South America. China Industrial and Commercial Bank holds 70% of Standard Bank, investing in WeChat and Alibaba through Standard Bank. So the tens of trillions of assets of CCP state-owned enterprises are basically in Africa's Standard Bank, Goldman Sachs, and Blackstone. And buying and selling between these banks and China's high-tech stocks and financial stocks are also under their control. So we can see Australia is also under like CCP's control severely. So we will need to let the people know how heavily like Australia has been infiltrated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, it deeply is worried that about Australia, and we know, Mr. Truth, you're living in Australia. Could you show us with your experience and your thought on this issue?
Okay, thank you. I think thank you, Chris. You lie in a big picture, but basically the CCP's family's asset. Not only just Xi Jinping, but also Meng Jianzhu, Sun Lijun, those guys also residing here. I also saw the big property developers. They were buying properties and development heavily in Gold Coast, Melbourne and Sydney. Okay. So no doubt that in Australia, people regarding these wealthy Chinese are very wealthy. But we know they control major assets. Let me give you a figure. I remember I was involved with some consulting works that we learned that about 10 years ago onwards, this the investment from China, CCP, into Australia in mining sector alone was about like $600, $700, $800 billion per year continuously, reach the asset of more than $1 trillion. So what they do is they buy mostly those mining sites, which after proven of preliminary testing and also the reserve is confirmed. So to buy that out, and then they also develop the mining, and then, for example, copper mining in North Queensland, and also gold mining as well, and the coal minings in Queensland, middle North Queensland, then in Western Australia, iron ore, and then also coking coal in Australia, in the Queensland as well. And this coking coal is essential for its quality in the worldwide. It's probably ranking as the top quality coking coal for steel mill. So if you don't have that added into it, then it won't give the high temperature. So and then the whole thing won't work. So those are very hot But in addition to that, of course, you can see different sectors. Okay, so technology, but I don't know why that the internet hosting is much expensive and much slower. Maybe they like to keep it that way. Yeah, and so. What most Miles said was true, and remember that in the early when the COVID comes, there's some misinformation and disinformation from the ABC News TV. So we actually went to the headquarters in Queensland, in Brisbane, to protest for a few days. And they were like a GT Pan, okay, and those guys, they were there as well. So we actually, but now we don't see them anymore. I think the ABC News, the same changes tone, the same journalist. I forgot her name. She's young, and then she was writing the stories. But now I think she's working for the maybe for Australian security agency to expose the CCP, and she speaks totally against the CCP. I think there's some spy activities going as well. But in a nutshell, no doubt, if there's Chinese money, then they come to the casinos, comes through formal investment. Banking sectors, I think, largely controlled by the CCP's money, and infrastructure investment, mining industry. Then I think Chinese people like to have the restaurant and supermarkets. So all of that, what you see is wherever there's a Chinatown type of people gathering, the business, property, everything goes up. So I think that shows that the wealth of the wealthy top Chinese people from the CCP's families, okay, and they have power to. You see most of the top cars are probably owned by the Chinese people as well. I think compared to the population, we probably have about 10% or 15% of the Chinese population. But I think you can see they probably drive more good cars and so on. So we like to see that we believe that as Miles told us that there's so many wells hidden there, but recently the car accident, the crash cases, I think have blown out how much money they could hide in here. So there's no question that the politicians, because Australian is so relatively wealthy, so everyone living in a easy lifestyle. I think as long as you can find a job, you can make money and buy a house, supporting families. As long as you're not lazy. Of course, Chinese people, most of them are hardworking. But then those people doesn't have the work. They just buy the expensive houses. And the CCP's top credit children, especially the boys, come with the beautiful ladies, and doesn't seem to do anything, but they always go out and dining and that kind of thing. You see, that's that group. Okay, so that's the picture of it, and how tightly where the CCP can control the whole politics. I think most of the time, I think we find out as we start voting or not voting, it doesn't seem to make a differences. Then it's always both parties come out the same thing. Because I got a lot of Aussie friends. They tell me about those politics are more like a mediocrity. Everyone sort of have similar policies, and then in the end, as long as the tax also is very high as well here. So okay, so that's the picture, and CCP is infiltrated very heavily. If you go to the bank, if you want to send your money out, what happens is, if you're Chinese, then they have the Chinese service that will tell you that you can't do that. But then if the whistleblower is Australian, they can do that. So they treat the Chinese, control the people from overseas, even through the banking activities as well. They treat you, even in the law country, they treat the Australian Chinese, okay, Chinese Australian, different from Australian. That's a lot of experiences. I can give example, which over the years when we are dealing with the GTV and series and investment, you found that. So it's pretty challenging for a lot of whistleblowers. That's why we need to take it on the CCP. So hopefully they're not controlling the beautiful country as such to that degree, and they even bring police stations probably here as well. There are different groups, societies, and they're like different societies. Most of them same, just getting together. I think the so-called Wang Hong. Okay, so maybe the internet, the influencer. Okay, but I think now they all changed since Trump come out of the administration. Everyone sort of back off and then say some good things about this country. So let's see what happens. Okay, in Australia, in general, it's pretty soft and easygoing, but the crime increases in Sydney and Melbourne. There's no question. So we see what has happened. But relatively, it's a safer country, I think. Okay, see, that's all I can share so far.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz, for sharing your experience and takeaway. And you can see that this is why the NFSC or whistleblower movement follower has been awakened up by Miles School, because we know that's the truth. No matter how wealthy these kleptocrats or high levels of CCP families are, the poor, the ordinary people, the deplorables living in China is still very poor. They're living on their poverty line. They have to work really hard like a slave workers to earn their living. So it's unfair for the Chinese people. So we gotta realize that and punish the CCP senior officials and sanction them. Okay, so let's check out the second video about the most recent incident in Australia and see how corrupt the CCP is.
Behind the wheel of a Rolls-Royce when she crashed into another vehicle at Rose Bay in the early hours of this morning. Police say the 23-year-old refused to undergo a further breath test in custody. Her car, worth around $1 million, now a write-off.
She clearly hasn't heard of stealth wealth.
What happened last night?
But Lan Yang didn't look happy to see cameras as she left Waverley Police Station.
Can you tell us how you're feeling today?
The 23-year-old was allegedly behind the wheel of a Tiffany blue Rolls-Royce, thought to be worth around $1 million, when it slammed head-on into a Mercedes-Benz on New South Head Road in the early hours of this morning. Chauffeur George Plasaris was trapped inside his van for an hour. The 52-year-old eventually cuffed free and taken to hospital with serious neck, back and leg injuries. Yang, flanked by 2 police officers, was arrested after allegedly returning a positive roadside breath test. However, back at the station, police claim she was uncooperative, refusing a secondary test.
Anything you want to say to the other driver?
Head on. Terrible, terrible. I've never seen anything like this.
The young woman will now have some time to think about last night. She's been charged with causing bodily harm.
Exactly. We can see, just as predicted, is how wealthy they are. They drive luxury cars and live a super luxury life in the Western world. But unfortunately, the mainstream media normally in mainland China is censored. The people who don't get to know about their life in there and what's their relationship between those people with the senior CCP officials, it's all censored or banned. This is why we have to expose not only to the Western world, but also inside the communist China. It's about, what's going on. Your money has been stolen and transferred to a board. So it's really bad situation. So Chris, and welcome your comments.
But from the video, we can see how wealthy those CCP officials illegitimate sons and daughters live outside of the China. But from this, from for example, this time, Yang Lanlan's incident, like Yang Lanlan's true identity and channels through the CCP the CCP infiltrates Australia. Yang Lanlan is a member of the CCP privileged class infiltrating democratic countries. So exposing the CCP, this gangster interest group, is the key point. Like after the incident occurred on August 5th, the CCP announced the lifting of the ban on Australian apple imports, and Australian apple have been banned from entering the Chinese market for 15 years. And also on August 8th, the CCP country directly loaded $2 billion to the Australian mining industry. The CCP, in order to control rare earths, fundamentally does not want to help the Australian mining industry at all. What force made the CCP change? The fact is that Yang Lanlan's identity is too sensitive. The CCP hopes to suppress the Yang Lanlan incident. They had no choice but to use apples and loans to buy off Australia. The Yang Lanlan family is engaged in the iron ore import quota business, closely related to the Chinese state-owned enterprise, CITIC Steel and Sino Steel. Every year, they meet in Western Australia to allocate iron ore quotas and then profit through layers of transfers. 80% of the quotas are controlled by Sino Steel. The red CCP second generation takes about 50% of the profits. The official second generation takes about 30% of the profits. The remaining 15% of the profits are given to the subcontracting connections. The remaining about 5% of the profits belong to industrial and commercial users. So these CCP elites meet every year to negotiate the proportions. The year's profit are then calculated. For the rest of the time, they just eat, drink, have fun, and socialize. In contrast to the life of ordinary Chinese people, working more than 8 hours a day and having to work overtime on Saturdays, shouldering mortgages, car loans, supporting families, paying social insurance. The ordinary Chinese people doesn't have even the right to get sick because the cost of one illness can bankrupt the entire family. So we can see that's how much difference between the CCP elites families and ordinary Chinese families. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your comments. I think we definitely need to do this as soon as possible. You know, CCP has not only influenced directly the Chinese people's life, but also severely put all the Western's life, wealth, and national security in danger. So we got to take immediate action. Now let's go to Mr. Truth.
Yeah, what we're seeing now, this is just a tip of the iceberg, of course. They infiltrated every sector. Of course, they control in China, for example, the import of iron ore. Okay, give that example. Then when you go to the export, what happened is because the major so-called central government-owned iron ore corporations, import-export corporation, and the banks, they work together for themselves to profit from it. So you can see how they share the profit is 50% become the second generation of the top Communist Party leaders, called the second generation of the red. And then the second generation of bureaucrats taking 30%, and 15% will give the relatively so-called customers. Custom means importers, so they got like 15% of it, and then the 5% of the profit going to the users. Users means once you imported China into the to the field, then those steel manufacturers and so on, or mine or electricity generated for the coal mine, coal power plant, they come together and they get 5%. So that's all the lines is the corruption, and they don't pay tax. Remember, they will never. Those guys, they have a privilege. So the money is net money. But if you add that together, the 50% is the cost which they buy in Australia, because they are monopoly. They can put the price as low as possible as long as the whole operation going. So they suck the most profit, but the living Australians, okay, and the entity in there, just as long as you're operating, it's okay. So you're not gonna really get the profit because you're not gonna have the say. So those guys in the middle are doing the business. You're just working hard. That's it. But of course, I know that China has CCP has invested in a lot of strategic asset, like high yield minings of iron ore or coal and so on. So they can control all of that. And then what need to happen is you need to give the Australian government is like a leasing fee. The leasing fee is a chicken feed compared with the price what they're getting from it. So basically, Australians sell the resources for a very cheap price. Why? Because you also don't, apart from being BGY, but you don't have a say. China, whoever have the market, and they come along to even mine the whole thing for themselves, so they can juggle where to leave your profit. So basically, it's during the trade process, the profit is in the third country, in an island or somewhere. They have the trading companies, and the money and all the profit are exchanged from there. When they come back to Australia, it's like a pure investment, or just yes, something like that. They've done so technical fully. They don't pay the tax. If you ask them, they pay tax. No, we're not going to pay any tax. That's how it's done. So tax haven. That's most of the trading companies setting up. Okay, so compare with all people in China. Okay, what happening is you don't have that. I mean, the Communist Party, when they established, it's supposed to be like working for the people. Okay, like the People's Bank of China and the People's Bank of anything. All right, and the People Corporation, People's Railway. But you say they don't really serve the people. They exclude the people and exploit the people. Any profit, it's all belong to them. Okay, there's no way if you don't belong to the class, according to the declaration of communism, then the poor people, working class, the peasant and the farmers should come have a revolution and taken all the privilege away because they stolen the country, right? But then they never think about that. They still sing the international song about get up, or the enslaved slaves, neighbors. We start to have a revolution and take down the CCP. Basically, they're not really communist party. They just a dictatorship. They're not kingship either. So the whole China, it looks like everything developed very well, but the quality not good. The bridges fall, and they try and hit each other, and the building falls. There's so many bad qualities. Why? Because they just want to get the profit on their own hands. A different level of a CCP organization, like the KGB. But the poor people have to working very hard. You have to work in, 7 days, 10 hours a day to just survive. Now, I think the situation is getting worse. It's to the level they cannot run the business, and people have no rights to eat. Not mentioning about the Australian beef and the robusters. So time to take down the CCP in a nutshell. Thank you.
Exactly. So we got to take down the CCP as soon as possible. So we can have the Chinese people will fix their internal issues, affairs, and then leave the rest of the world in a happy mood. And you can see that all these CCP kleptocrats, when they go to the Western world, they don't follow the local law. They can do whatever they want. They feel like, oh, I'm still living in China. They feel like they have these superior privileges over not only Chinese people, but also the ordinary Western people. They break the laws. They violate a lot of local regulations and causing chaos and problems, instabilities to all of the rest of the world. So we got to be really careful and really think about how can we do legislations to ban all these CCP officials and punish them. That's the most critical part, I think, for now, to help take down the CCP as soon as possible. Okay, I think time is about up, and we have very focused area and brief discussions, and I think it's very all meaningful. Hopefully, after watching this episode, you can get to know more about the CCP's corruption and how they do things if you never experienced with them directly before. Okay, so let's wrap up. And again, Chris and Mr. Truth07, you have a couple minutes to summarize and comments. Now let's start with the Truth, Mr. Truth.
Yeah, so we can see the CCP over the last 65 years, they have stolen all the wealth from China, and then they have sent that wealth to all the illegitimate children, okay, second generation, third generation, those guys under different name, okay, somehow they use the status power, security power. They're protected even by the foreign countries, okay? You cannot really touch them. They have the privilege. So what do? They just use the money. The money they made from, exploring Australian iron ore, okay, will give you $2 billion loan or whatever. Of course, Western countries always, leaders always, the money is always good. But what about the violation of the rule of law? So if you let CCP continue doing that, not very long, I think they're going to rule the whole world. So that should not happen. That's why Mao School whistleblowers, we've been working, last 7-8 years to trying to expose the CCP. And they are basically a bunch of thieves of the national wealth. So all the money controlled by them, bank controlled by them, and ordinary people, if you put the money in the bank now, I heard you cannot draw more than 200 Australian dollars out. They ask you so many silly questions, just annoy you and waste you half a day. You still haven't got the money. I think they have stolen so much credit out of the bank, and those did very badly in the property investment where, one set of property cannot be sold. I think a lot of Western super fund and, is going to be in trouble. As I know Australia, there's a lot of money invested in Chinese real estate business as well. So I think they're going to cause the world the economical crisis. Let's take down the CCP and get the stolen money and give to Chinese people so they can build themselves and deal with a much better government for honesty and equality and happiness for the citizens, for the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Chris, last but not least.
From the Yanglan's incident, we can find that the CCP's dark tactics. So when the truth is being spread, they create lies that are even more exaggerated than the truth. Use exaggerated lies to cover up the truth, undermine the credibility of the truth, to prevent the truth from being spread. So to counter CCP's dark tactics, we must spread out the truth. Because from Yang Lanlan's incident, we can find that there are many misinformation online. For example, like Yang Lanlan, she paid lots of money to get bailed out, but it's not true. And that's not the point we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on what she really is and the connection between her and the CCP. And we need to expose them to let the public know the truth. Thank you.
Exactly. So all of us, we should help spreading the news and truth about the CCP to wake up more people. And as more and more people realize the danger of the CCP infiltration, we can push for legislations and other actions to hold them accountable, to stop them, eventually take them down. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Truth and Chris, for sharing with your thoughts today. And thank you, Director, and all of the audiences for staying with us. So please stay tuned. We're going to see you next week and continue to expose more truth about the CCP. And see you next time. Bye.
I see you.
Take down the CCP.
Thank you. Take down CCP.
他们的恐惧是我们的武器，我们的胜利。谢谢了，兄弟姐妹们，你们健身了吗？行动，行动，行动！中共，你完了 ！Take down the CCP！
Just beginning for the games you want to play. Bring it on and now we'll fight to the end. Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 才能让我们远离恐惧。Take down the CCP。
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人们
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
！Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer. Bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down the evil CCP. 他们的恐惧是我们的武器，我们的胜利。谢谢了，兄弟姐妹们，你们健身了吗？行动，行动，行动！中共，你完了 ！Take down the CCP！
Beginning, but the games you want to play. Bring it on and now we'll fight to the end. Just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all life for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
中共，你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 才能让我们远离恐惧。Take down the CCP。
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all life for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人们
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行动！
Let the bullets fly a little
你
longer.
完了
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
！Take down
Let
the
the bullets fly a
CCP。
little longer. Bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
Take down the evil CCP。他们的恐惧是我们的武器，我们的胜利。谢谢了，兄弟姐妹们，你们健身了吗？行动，行动，行动！中共，你完了 ！Take down the CCP。
Everything's just beginning, but the games you want to play. and just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
你完了！干灭中国共产党这个 CCP， 还能让我们远离恐惧。Take down the CCP.
They try to scare the nation with fabrication, but we see through the lies. We won't fall, we will fight you back. Police corruption with crooked assumption. They ran our lives, but no more. We will win. We will take down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP. They have all lied for too long. We will end what they do wrong. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. Let's take down the CCP. Let the bullets fly a little longer, and you will surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. We will have freedom to live. We will win. You'll surrender. Let the bullets fly a little longer. Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
站起来吧！
Let the bullets fly a little
为
longer.
奴役的人们
Let the bullets fly a little longer.
行